Hey everybody, this is Mr. McKee again with Net 125. Today I'm going to be going over Packet Tracer 11.10.1, which is design and implement a VLSM addressing scheme. Now remember, this is a little involved, so just take your time, do it step by step, and you should be fine. Alright, I know it's kind of overwhelming at first, but just know that, yep, a lot of people just can't look at this and be like, I don't know exactly how I'm going to subnet it. Alright, after me doing it for a long time, I mean, I can kind of figure it out, but to get it precisely the way that you should have it, where you're not wasting any IP addresses that you don't need to, it takes just doing it step by step. All right, for submission wise, what I've done here, let me just make all these red. All right, so you're gonna fill out this addressing table. All right, you can tell by here this is the same as the last lab pretty much. One router, two routers, looks like 4 switches and 4 PCs. All right, in this lab you would design a VLSM addressing scheme giving a network address and host requirements. You will configure addressing on routers, switches, and network hosts. Design a VLSM addressing scheme, given requirements, configure addressing on network device and host, verify IP connectivity, and troubleshoot connectivity issues as required. You've been asked to design, implement, and test an addressing scheme for a customer. The customer has given you the network address that is suitable for the network, the topology, and the host requirements. You will implement and test your design. Now, I'll let you know though, I reset the packet tracer one time. There's different topologies. So if your topology doesn't look like mine, it's done the same way. Just know that there's different topologies. All right. So requirements, you'll fill in the requirements. You can do that first before you do anything else, because figure out your requirements. All right. And let's see. And since this is blank, this is the answer sheet. All right, for my class, obviously they're going to have hopefully the IP address in there. Or you can put the IP address, you can put the network address in there. Matter of fact, because it's right here. So right here, in mine it's 10.1.1.0/24. So right off the bat, I know there's 254 possible usable host addresses, one network address, and one broadcast address. The way it sits right now. All right, we have 4 LANs to set up, so we'll do that, and then we'll figure out how many addresses we need. All right, create addressing design, follow guidelines provided in the curriculum regarding the order of subnets. The subnet should be contiguous. There should be no unused address space between subnets. Yeah, sometimes you could actually do that. It might get a little confusing, but you can space out the subnets. In this case, they don't want you doing that. All right, provide the most efficient subnet possible for point-to-point link between the routers. Remember \30. Document your design in the table, such as the one below. All right, you'll submit that also in red text, which I'm making it red right now. All right, so we'll move this off the screen. This is going to be kind of like my worksheet. All right, let's look at the topology. 4 networks. All right, LAN, 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 LAN. This is a WAN right here, but we're going to treat it kind of like as a WAN, or I guess you consider it. It's a WAN because it's a long distance in between the two, more than likely. I mean, in real life, these could be sitting in the same rack, but that's going to get a \30 subnet. So you can think of it if it's the same company, like the west and the east side of, like, say, a campus, those 2 routers might be a mile apart, or they might be sitting in the same rack. They're just separating those 2 networks completely. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me get my addressing back. Whoops, come here. Let's see. Okay, stop. Don't do that anymore. Alright, let me see if I can do this. That. Alright, now we're good. Alright, so let's see. Now down here we know And when we say the LAN, we're going to go by the name of the switch that's in that LAN. Okay. And we have WS1, WS2, ES2, and ES1. So if we go alphabetical, I guess we could go, yeah, I guess that'd be all right. ES1, number of hosts required is 11. And I'm just going by exactly what it's telling me. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Let me do this. That'll make it confusing. What we need to do is let's go by the number of hosts just to keep it straight. All right, WS2, number of addresses required 47. All right, second one will be ES2, and that's a 28 host requirement. ES1, 11, and WS1. All right, 5. Now you could put those in alphabetical order. I mean, or like say if you're starting like top left, working clockwise, whatever way you're doing it. Just understand that I'm putting those in order like that just so I can keep it straight in my head. All right, so I'm transfer it down here. It's going to make a lot of sense. All right, so create Subnet design, follow the guidelines provided in the curriculum. All right, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and create everything. And notice we have 5 rows because the east to west WAN connection is going to be our last configuration. All right, so I would suggest making one of these in Excel or any kind of Excel-like application. But notice I've got, now we know that this is a, let's do it. Let's mark down what our network address is. 10.1.1.0 /24. All right, I want to do that in red so it sticks out. All right, we know that. In that case, I'm going to move this off the screen. I'm going to come over here. Okay, my first network is definitely going to be 10.1.1.0. Whoops, 0. All right, and I always do my little table the same way, just because that's the way I do it on the CCNA exam. Because normally it'll give you an IP address, it'll give you a subnet. All right. But now variable length subnet masking, that stuff's going to change, so we're not going to do that right now. All right, so the first thing we need though, let's see, number of addresses. The first one is going to be 47 here. I'm going to do this when I pause the video, but I'm going to go just put notes up here. Need 47 IPs. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm going to fill that in, and I'll show you guys what I got. All right, so I filled in my little tables. All right, so I said, okay, the first subnet I'm going to make needs 47 addresses. Second one needs 28. Third one needs 11. Fourth one needs 5. And then my WAN to WAN connection is going to need 2. All right, I guess I could label those to what they are also, but hopefully we'll remember that. Actually, what I'll do while I'm thinking about it, WS2, ES2, ES1. When you do stuff from scratch, you kind of like always forget a little something. But it's good because you actually know what you're supposed to be doing. So east to west. Alright, so we're good there. Alright, so first network address is just going to be my assigned network address. Whoops. And if I do it incorrectly, it's not going to work. Alright, .0. Remember, we're not going to use /24 because that would mean one big subnet. But now if I need 48 addresses, not 48 IP addresses, but 48 number of addresses required. I'm going to assume that that means 48 of 47 usable host addresses. All right. So if I look up here, \27, I got 30 usable addresses, and let me scroll over. All right, notice host addresses. So 62 usable host addresses with \26, or 64 total addresses. All right, and hopefully that's what it means, because it says a number of addresses. One of these is going to be off one if they're not specific enough. Actually, let me look at this. Let's see. Calculate versus say. Assign the first usable address is impossible. Okay, host address requirements. So host address requirements is what we got. So that means, yeah, if we're going by a number of addresses versus host addresses, there'll be 2 less hosts per subnet because of the network and the broadcast address of that specific subnet. So the first subnet is going to be a \26. So that's the same thing as a 255.255.255.60. I'm sorry, 192. 192 because 256 minus 192. So this is the same thing as 256 minus 192 equals, I'm purposely not going to let it calculate it for me. I could have a calculator though and say 256 minus 192. Alright, 64 possible addresses and 62 usable host addresses. Alright, first address, now I'm going to skip down right here. Assign the first usable IP address and the appropriate subnets to east for the first 2 WAN links of the LAN link. Assign the first usable IP address and the appropriate subnets to west for the 2 LAN links. Assign the last usable IP address for the WAN link. That really didn't help me out. But the first, actually, you know what I'll do? Let me just do this. I'll just do it the way I always do it. All right. First usable host address is one more than the network. All right. And now the very last, we got 64 usable addresses total. All right. That includes 0. So our last address, which is our broadcast, would be actually 63. 63 plus 0, which is our first number, 64. All right, so broadcast would be 10.1.1.63. Last usable host address is one less than that, 62. All right, notice network's an even number. Of course, it's 0. Broadcast is odd. I think that's correct. If I look at that, 1 to 62 is easy to calculate in my head. That's 62 usable addresses. All right. Now the next thing down here is going to be my network address. And we could switch around the subnet and the network columns, I guess. All right, so our network is going to be 10.1.1.64. All right, that's an even number. That makes sense. All right, so I need 28 IPs. All right, so 30 would accomplish that. 14 is too little. 62 is too many. All right, so it's going to be a 255.255.255.224. And notice 256 minus 224 equals, all right, 256 minus 224, 32, all right. All right, first host address 10.1.1.65. All right, now let's do our broadcast. We know it's going to be at 10.1.1. All right, so 30 usable host addresses. So let's get a calculator. Well, I can look at that and say, okay, 30. What is 30? 65 is my first one, so 94. Right? And 95 would be my broadcast. Fill this in 10.1.1.94. Alright, and I know that because if I did 94 minus, I try to do this different ways just to verify. Alright, 94 minus 65 equals 29 plus the very first number is 65, so that's 30. And then if you did well, if we did 224, I don't want to get too confusing there, but 95 minus, alright, let's clear this thing, 95 minus 64 is 31, plus the very first number is 64. That's what you got to think about though. If you forget that very first number you're starting with, you'll be off one. Alright, but notice an odd network, even broadcast, more than likely that's correct. Right, so down here, my next network address is going to be 10.1.1.96. Alright, I need 11 IP addresses, so 6 is not enough, 30 is too many, 14 would be perfect, so it'll be a 240, so 255.255.240. Alright, first host address 97, and this would all be 10.1.1. Alright, so let's do 256 minus 240. Alright, I can look at that pretty easy and say, okay, that's 16. So 16 total addresses, 224. Oh, I'm wrong. Let's see, what did I do here? 224. I need 28 addresses. Oh, 32. Okay. I don't know where I got 16 from. 32. That's why I like to double check it. Yep. See? I made a boo-boo. 32. 64. 95. Yep. Okay. So here, let's see. So 96. So 97 plus 13 more. 97 plus 13 equals 110. Right, 14 total addresses. Right, went by this. Why is that? Well, I always look like I'm looking at the wrong one. All right, so that's right. 110, 111 is my broadcast. I'm going to make these numbers the same. 1.1. Oops, .1. All right, let's just verify. Okay, so 256 minus 40, 16. All right, 111 minus 96. 111 minus 96 equals 15 plus the very first number of 96. It gives me 16. All right, and then next number is going to be 10.1.1.112. Even number. Kind of looks good. Looks like a weird subnet, but it should be all right. Now what we need though, this subnet is going to be 256 minus. I need 5. So 6 would do that. Backslash 29 or 248. 248. All right. So 255.255.255.248 minus 248 equals. Okay, that equals 8. All right, so 8 total. So we need our first host address would be 10.1.1.113. All right, so we're gonna have 8 total IP addresses or 6 usable host addresses. Going by that. Okay, so 112 plus 8 would be 120 minus 1, 119. All right. So last usable host address would be 118. 10.1.1. All right. And let's just verify. Okay, network address. We have 8 total addresses. The first address is that one. If we go 7 more addresses, would give us 119. 19 minus 112. 7 plus the first number is 8. All right, so we're good. I know I'm doing this like over and over again, but repetition really does make it easier to understand. All right, 1.1. Whoops, I think I'm putting the wrong line. All right, 10.1. Come on, .1.1. 120. All right, so when we're doing east to west, so I know right off the top of my head, router to router connection is more than likely going to be a \30 or 252, right? Because 256 minus 252 is 4. 256 minus 252 equals 4. All right. And this one's pretty easy because, okay, first address is 120, next address is 121, last address is 122, broadcast is 123. All right, and you can do like this, copy, paste. All right. And notice from 124 to 255, we haven't used those addresses up. And we've created 5 subnets. All right. And this one's actually, what, 64? 56 plus, yep, 56 plus 8, 64. All right, so from there, we come over here. Let's get my Word document. All right, subnet description is WS2. Number of hosts needed, 47. Network address, CIDR. Well, 10.1.1.0 backslash 64 is the same thing as a 26. First usable host address 10.1.1.1. Broadcast address 10.1.1.63. All right, next one is ES2. Needed address is 28. CIDR 10.1.1.64. backslash 224 10.1.1.65. All right, broadcast. .95, 10.1.1.95. Come on. Oh, I got caps lock on. All right. ES1 is 11. 10.1.1.95. So the next network address would be 96 without even looking at it. It is a backslash 240. 240 or a backslash 28. First usable host address 10.1.1.97. Broadcast address 97. Broadcast address is 111. 10.1.1.111. Oops. Alright. WS1. Need 5 addresses. 10.1.1.112. Alright. Now there's going to be a CIDR of 248 is a backslash 29, just like I have here in our network. Backslash 29. Alright. Host address 10.1.1.113. Alright, broadcast 10.1.1.119. Alright, and finally, I'm going to call this east to west. Need 2. Broadcast is 10.1.1.120. First usable host address is 10.1.1.1.1. Broadcast 10.1.1.123. Alright, so we got that. So from there, we shouldn't need this calculator anymore. Alright, so let's bring back over our topology. Where to go? Now we've done the hard part. Now let's see what we need to do. You will configure addresses on all devices and hosts in the network. Assign the first usable IP addresses and appropriate subnets to R1 name. No. Duh. I'm going to move this off the screen. You got to look at your activity window to tell you. Alright. Assign the first usable IP addresses and appropriate subnets to east. Alright, notice east is the bottom for the 2 LAN links and the WAN link. Alright, first usable IP addresses for each of those, starting with doing east. Alright. Try to keep this off the screen. Of course you did that. Alright, where are you at? Alright, so I've got too many screens open. So let's do enable config T. Alright, so let's first usable host addresses are for each of these interfaces on east. Alright, so first thing I want to do, let's do ES2, and I'm just going to look on the screen. And what interface is this? Gigabit 01. Alright, IP address. Alright, so that's going to ES2, and ES2 is a 10.1.1.65 with a root cider in 224. 128, 192, 224. So that'd be a 27. Backslash 27. Alright, so subnet mask is going to be 255.255.255.240. Alright. No shit. Alright, let me just verify that that's right. Alright. First usable host address, ES2. Alright. Now let's do gigabit 00. Alright, and that one's going to ES1, which ES1 is a 10.1.1.97. 10.1.1.97. Alright, verify that. Alright, that looks good. It is a backslash 28, so 255.255.255. So 128, 192, 224, 240. That should be 240. Alright, no shutdown to turn it on. Alright, last address is going to be this right here, 0000. Alright, interface. 00. Come on. 00. Alright. IP address. East to west. First usable host address for that one is going to be 10.1.1.121, 255.255.255.252. Alright, no shut. Alright, so that one's good. So let's go over to assign the first usable IP addresses in the appropriate subnets to west for the two LAN links. Assign the last IP address for the WAN link. And I guess it makes good sense. Let's do the WAN link first. We know that's a 0000. Enable configure terminal IP interface 0000. Alright, so IP address. And that's going to be the last usable host address, which we know that 121 was the first usable host address, so 122 will be the last one. 10.1.1.122. Alright, 255.255.255.252. Alright, no shut that. Okay, that one's fine. And again, first usable IP address of the appropriate subnets for west. Let's start with WS1, gigabit 00. Alright, so interface gigabit 00, IP address. Alright, WS1 is 10.1.1.113. 10.1.1.113 with a backslash 29, which is a 255.255.255. If you memorize it, starting with your first subnet in the Class C range, 225 is 128, then 192, 224, So it should be a 240. All right. Oh, did I get it wrong? Oh yeah, I did it wrong. First, oh, I typed in 113. I should be 1. Wait, what did I do here? I typed in. Oh, I typed it in wrong. First usable address in WS1 Oh, I messed it up. Oh yeah, I messed that up. I know what I did. Alright, let's do interface 0, 0, 0, 0. Alright, IP address. Let's actually take that out. 113. Let's do a no in front of it. Alright, then go again. Take out the no. IP address 10.1.1.122. Yeah. And then it is a backslash 252. 252. All right, now we're on the right track. I'm going to do a do show run just to see what I did. All right, so serial 000 is the second of the 2 usable host addresses in the 10.1.1.120. All right, backslash 30, same thing as the 252. That's fine. All right, interface gigabit 00. All right, gigabit Ethernet 00 is right there. First usable host address, WS1 is 113 backslash 240. Okay, you know what I did? Of course I did that. Let's see. Where's my spreadsheet at? $248. That's where I messed up. I put a 240. I should have put a 248. Alright, so gigabit Ethernet 00, Control C. Alright, interface. Let's do gigabit 00. Alright, let's go back. Alright, now let's fix this thing. 48. Oops, let's do a IP address, just like that. No shut. Alright, gigabit Ethernet 00. Let's see. Alright, that's WS1. First usable host address that's correct. Alright, let's do interface 01. And just to verify, I'm pretty sure it is gigabit 01 since I can't see it. I assume it is. IP address. Alright, so WS2 is going to be 111, 10.1.1.1, 255.255.255. Backslash 26. And since I'm trying to do this from memory, I want to make sure I do it right. 192. Right, no shut. Dang, my typing today is terrible. Alright. Now all those are set. Let's take a look at our results. East. Alright, that subnet mask is wrong for East. Alright, so East gigabit 01 subnet mask is wrong. Let's do show. Let's do a do show. All right, so east. Going to ES2 / 27 224. That should be 224. I made another boo-boo. Let's copy this thing. Zero. So make sure. All right, let's paste this in there. Paste. And let's do a no. Okay, an up arrow, and then go through here. And that is going to be ES2 27 224. All right, that looks better. It's turned on already, so we have to turn it on again. All right, now we should be on the right track. Man, we were getting off track for a minute. All right, let's get back to that thing. All right, so let's see. Assign the second usable IP address to the appropriate subnets to the switches. All right, remember we gotta add a default gateway also. All right, so let's do WS1 first. That's enable config T interface VLAN1 IP address. So it's the second usable host address. WS1 will be 114. 10.1.1.114. Subnet mask is 29, so that's going to be a 248. 255.255.255.248. All right. Exit out of this. Default. Always forget to exit. Big T. IP. I don't know why I always forget that. IP default gateway is WS1 would be 113. 10.1.1.113. All right, let's do it. Okay, exit interface VLAN1. Yep, interface. One, shut. All right, turn that on. All right, let's do WS2. All right, so enable config T interface VLAN1. All right, IP address. All right, WS2. Its second usable host address would be 10.1.1.2. with a 255.255.255.26 would be a 192. All right. Let's exit. Repeat default. There we go. I don't know why I always do that wrong. Our default gateway is 10.1.1.1. Let me verify. Yes. And no shut. Alright, interface one, no shut. Alright, so that's good. Let's go to ES2. Alright, ES2, that would be a 10.1.1.2 usable host address is 66. 255.255.255. Alright, we're doing ES2. We're looking at 27, 224. Alright, 224. And I am like off it today. Let's see. Interface. One. Alright. ES2 10.1.1. So 66. 255.255.255. ES2 27 would be at 224. Alright, no shut. Alright, exit IP default gateway of 10.1.1. Just verify 65 is correct. Alright, let's exit that. And finally, ES1. Configure terminal, interface VLAN1, IP address. Alright, so we're doing ES1, so 10.1.1.98 is the second usable host address. 255.255.255. Alright, ES1, and it's a 28, so it would be a /240, or .240. Right. Let's exit. IP default. Gateway is 10.1.1.97. 97. Alright, so we're looking good there. We're about 67%. I want to go ahead and check everything. Alright, so everything's looking good so far. Alright, so we've done that. Assign the second usable IP address to the appropriate subnets to the switches. The switch management interface should be reachable from hosts on all the LANs. Okay, and then assign the last usable IP address to the appropriate subnets to the hosts. Alright, so let's start with WS1. Alright, so it's, let's see. So WS1, its broadcast is 10.1.1.119. So this would be one less than that, 10.1.1.118. It'll be at 255.255.255. WS1 is a 19. From now on, since I was getting the subnets wrong, bring these things back up just to verify. Alright, so .248. 10.10, what was it? 10.1.1.118. 255.255.255.248. All right, default gateway is going to be 10.1.1. WS1 is 112. Oh, I'm sorry, 113. All right, let's do the host on WS2 network. So WS2 10.1.1. The broadcast is 63, so 62. Subnet mask will be 255.255.255. WS2 is a /26, so it'd be 192. All right, default gateway would be 10.1.1. Let's see, .1. It's weird why you don't save it. It's just changes it. All right. So let's see, ES2. All right, so 10.1.1.95 is a broadcast, so 94. Subnet mask is 255.255.255. ES2 has a /27, which that is a 224. All right, default gateway ES2 would be .65, 10.1.1.65. All right, that looks good. And finally, ES1, which is going to be a 10.1.1.1. ES1 is 110. All right, 255.255.255. All right, ES1 is a /28, so that would be a 240. And apparently there's somewhere I messed up. I bet I got a subnet wrong. Let's see. Yep. E122, the default gateway is wrong. What did I just put? I just put that in there. Oh, duh. Look what I did. 10.1.1. All right. E1, ES1, 97. All right, so that is good. All right, so it took about an hour. So what you have to do is fill out your host requirements, fill out your subnet masks, or your VLSM addressing for your subnets, and then fill out the device information with the IP addresses and subnet masks. All right, and submit that. Submit a copy of your check results that show that you've completed everything. All right, if you haven't completed everything, make sure I can see what your score is. Upload that, and then do a copy of your .pka file, which is your packet tracer file. And that is it. But just make sure, definitely make sure you send me a screenshot of your completion rate. You can also send a screenshot of this right here, but and then your .pka file, because I can't give you 100% unless if you just turn in just the answer sheet itself. All right, but that's it. Thanks for watching.